Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, friends and family. Welcome to Wimbledon Spiritualist Church, where the power of spirit is ever present and we embrace an interfaith perspective. It's good to see familiar and new faces in our congregation, and we also say a big hello to everyone joining us live via SPTV on Facebook and YouTube. It's a pleasure this morning to introduce our guest medium, Jason Dean Rothwell, visiting Wimbledon for the first time, so please give him a very warm welcome. Before giving us his reading, address, and demonstration of mediumship, Jason will begin with a brief introduction about his spiritual journey and work as a medium, and then open our service in prayer. Thank you, Jason.
Good morning, everybody. I have to confess, I have been on SPTV many times before, but never actually in church, so this is a new one for me. I come from Manchester in the north of England, and my spiritual journey is a very, very simple one, really. I come from a family of mediums, so they all sort of talk to the spirit world, etc. But when I was in my mid-20s, I lost my grandmother. And on losing her, I decided, because she didn't instantly come back to visit me from the moment of her passing, she wasn't there to say, hello, love, I've got you all right. I stopped talking to the spirit world. I was like, I'm not interested. It's all nonsense. It's a lie. My Nana would have come back to me, and she didn't. And then one day, a random lady appeared in my house from the spirit, and she says, if you don't talk to us, she won't talk to you. So I thought I was going mad, to be honest. And quite honestly, I ended up going to a psychiatrist. I asked for lots and lots of very heavy drugs to try and make this lady disappear. And the psychiatrist quite openly said, I can't find anything wrong with you. I think you should go to a spiritualist, because I believe that the lady you're speaking to is really there. And such as it is, all of the tests would suggest you're completely sane. And I have to say, I thought that psychiatrist was mental. Because it was like, you're telling me that talking to dead people is more normal than the idea of me being mad. And he went, yes. And I went to a spiritualist church. And when I went to the church, there was a lady. And when I'd seen this lady in the past, she was always stood there veiled. And I walked into the church and I heard this lady just say, it's took you a long time. And as she lifted her veil, it was my nan. And I realized that my nan had just been pushing me to come in this direction. And since then, I've never looked back, and I have never suffered with depression since. I felt in a bad mood occasionally, but never depressed, because it lifted us. And that's me. Besides that, do we want to say a prayer and get on with it? Yes? Lovely. If you just join me in the silence. And I say, gracious and divine spirit, O loving Mother, Father, God, Creator, I ask that you move around us this morning and bring us together as a body of like-minded spirits. For myself, I would ask that my guides and inspirers join with me. And as we come together as one essence, may we reach out into that unseen world and invite your friends and your family to draw close to us for but the briefest of times. And speaking words only of the highest truth, may we seek not only to prove that life is eternal, but that love, joy, friendship, and forgiveness go on past that time that we call physical death. And when this service is done and all things are said, may the energies we share between us be sent out to where they are most needed. This I would ask in the name of you, who is the one God of high heaven, you who are love, you who are light, you who are eternal and everlasting life. Amen.
Thank you, Jason. And maybe just take this moment, Richard, please, to say hello to a few of our online visitors this morning. So we have Joe Ward, and hello to you, Joe. Good morning, and hope you enjoy the service. Also, Lisa Bennett, saying good morning to everybody at Wimbledon. Good morning to you, Lisa. And our very own Petra, saying good morning as well. And we wish you all the best, Petra. And June Malkin, one of our church members, saying good morning, Wimbledon. Spiritual Productions TV, and also Jason. Also Paul Bain, hello my friend. Hello my friend, also thank you for joining us. And Neil Payne, good morning at Wimbledon, and Jason. Thank you, Neil, for joining us. Julie Caswell, good morning to all, and good morning to you, Julie, and hope you have a lovely day and a wonderful service with us. Izzy Ryan, good morning all at Wimbledon, Richard, and in the chat. So let's do a couple more. Sarah, good morning everyone, and good morning to you, Sarah. Thank you so much for being here today. And Sam B, good evening everyone. Good evening to you then, Sam. I'm not sure quite where you are located, but have a lovely day. And finally, Tracy Honey saying good morning to all, and good morning to you, Tracy. Thank you for being with us. Now, can we please still our hearts and our minds as we pray for all those people, children and animals in need of spiritual healing, love and light across the planet, in places of war and conflict, nations affected by natural disasters, victims of the Middle East conflict, everyone involved in rescue operations and foreign aid, for the alleviation of war in the Ukraine, our National Health Service, the selfless doctors and nurses who work tirelessly for our well-being. We pray for peace in our time and the abolition of atrocities and violence. And we thank the power of the Holy Spirit for giving us strength and hope in times of doubt and despair. We include at this time the following names from our church healing list: Marjorie and Barry Harding, Sharon, Jim, Pat Ward, Jill, Ray and Jackie, Stephen, Jazz the cat, Petra, Elaine, and Melissa. We now move our attention into the healing silence to be followed by the serenity prayer, which we will say together. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Julian, can I please ask you to take the offertory in church? And Richard, our producer, will now run some promos while the collection is being taken. Anyone wishing to make a free will donation may do so on the following link, which is also listed on the Wimbledon Spiritualist Church Facebook pages, which is www.paypal.com/LADPROMS. That's www.paypal.com/paypalme/LADPROMS.
Help Spiritual Psychics TV grow our TikTok channel. Connect with us at SPTV UK. We're on a journey to reach our next milestone, and we need your help. Follow us today and support us going live. Imagine getting personalised readings, discovering your card of the day, and so much more. Don't miss out on the opportunity to explore new adventures with us. Follow, engage, and transform. Join our growing community at Spiritual Psychics TV with @SPTV UK on TikTok. This Monday morning from 10:30 a.m, broadcasting live on Facebook and YouTube, join Nick Brown and Karen Wood in their weekly programme, Start Your Day. Our magazine-style show features insightful readings, dynamic conversations with special guests, discussions on intriguing social issues, and thrilling competitions to energise your Monday morning. So don't forget to set your alarms, and we'll see you there.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, and welcome back to Wimbledon. I will now ask Jason to give us a short talk followed by his address. Thank you, Jason.
A short talk followed by an address. Which, I'm assuming you mean the same thing. Oh, fair enough. I mean, my address is number 29 Briar Avenue, Oldham, if anybody's interested. Please don't send me anything. I will not send it back to you. But that is where I live. As for a short talk, I just want to start my short talk by just putting two other little notes in terms of the healing. The first one is to the people of Sudan. Now, I know that there is obviously a problem going on in Ukraine, and there is a problem in Israel and Palestine, but there are 21 million people starving to death in Sudan at the moment because of a civil war, and half of the world has decided it doesn't want to mention it. You will not see this mentioned on the news because nobody's interested. It's just these people are to be left to fight it out and what have you, and our government says there's nothing we can do. But let me just also add my other thought to Lenka, who is a friend of both myself and Phil. Lenka was a great sponsor to me, and she encouraged me very much in my journey. And to hear that she has very sadly made her transition into the other world really did move, I think, a lot of us who had a lot of time and respect for her. So I just want to put that there. She was a lovely soul, a bit strong-willed at times, but a lovely woman nonetheless. Her heart was always in the right place. I just felt I need to mention her because she always wanted to come and see me here. So I have to mention that. I would just start by, I'm going to cover two topics. The first topic is prayer. How many of you pray regular? Constantly? Oh, I will be doing that during my service. I would say this, last night I was in Clapham. Lovely place, and I was doing the service in Clapham, and my chairperson said, and now Jason will start the service. Well, he didn't say, now Jason will open up in prayer. And I didn't think to open up in prayer. So I just jumped into the service and started giving messages. And all the way through the service, I'm sat there thinking, there's something not quite right here. Like, this is not working properly. And it worked quite nicely. It was working okay, but it wasn't just where it needed to be to let me know that the Spirit was truly flowing in that service. And when I got to the end, I said to my colleague, Suzanne, who I was sharing last night's service with, what have we not done? And she went, we didn't open in prayer. I was like, well, we better say a closing one anyway. But I noticed something that is really important. Prayer, whilst it may sometimes seem unrequired, is actually truly, truly necessary. And not only in mediumship, but just in life. You can go through life all by yourself. You can carry your own troubles. You can carry your own burdens. But if you can then invite God to help you carry those burdens as well, then why not do so? Can you understand that or accept that? Because I decided I could do that. I obviously decided subconsciously, I didn't do it intentionally, that I could manage that service on my own back, with my own energy, with no need to invite God in. And yes, we did. But it would have been so much better, so much easier, so much more loving if God had been invited to take part in that service. Can you accept that? Yeah. The other thing I also didn't do, I didn't invite my guides and inspirers to join in that service, because without the opening prayer, there was no reference to them whatsoever. So my team of 7 who sit up in the spirit world obviously sat there last night watching telly thinking, well, he doesn't need us tonight, does he? We'll have a drink and a gin and watch a bit of Strictly Come Dancing on repeat. However, when I invite them to come, then they're like, oh, yeah, we need to go to work tonight. Thank you very much. I will say my guides are a little bit stricter than me. I'll keep giving messages after a service, and my guides are like, nope, we're done. See you later. We're off to some nice sunny beach. The second point, and let me just get rid of the budgie that I'm swallowing. You'll have to forgive my very bad northern humour. But just a quick question. How many of you within this church regular donate to a food bank? To a food bank? Yes, lovely. Thank you. You added our number to 3, which was quite appreciated because I was very worried about how spiritual people were then. How many of you regularly feed the birds? Far more. Now, is it not a strange coincidence that somewhere in the world, there are huge swathes of farmland where we grow seeds, we grow corn, we grow crops, we cut it all down, we import it to the Western world so that we can feel nice feeding the birds in our garden. But there are 21 million people sat in Sudan who are starving because we have took all of their food to feed our birds. It's a bit strange, that, isn't it? Because should I tell you a really interesting fact about those birds? If you don't feed them, they'll go somewhere else. They trust in God's bounty. They will just find somewhere else to get their food. Mainly the garden next door, who might have some better seeds than you. But if you don't feed them, they will just survive. People do not. They die. And there are children who could have been the most wonderful humans who have ever existed who are dying because we can't bother to give them a bag of seeds. Can you accept that? It's a bit preachy, isn't it? And it's a bit unpleasant, but it's nevertheless the truth, an unpleasant truth that we should be feeding the world, not necessarily feeding the birds who don't really care. Can you accept that? The final thing, should I tell you a little fact? I've always wanted to talk about this. Any of you like robins? Yeah? You get visited by your family in the spirit world as robins? No? Messages, where they mention robins. Should I just tell you a lovely fact about robins? And people all over the world recognize them as one of the most spiritually attuned animals in the world. They are cannibals. They are amongst the most horrific species of bird you'll ever encounter in your life. They literally eat their babies all of the time. And people go, oh, they're beautiful. They're very spiritual. I'm not sure eating children is very spiritual. And my point is, well, I haven't really got one. I just enjoy the fact that when people say, oh, my mum's come to visit me. I'm like, oh, and what's she come to visit you as? A dove? And they say, oh, no, a robin. It's like, was your mum a particularly awful woman? Like, no, not really. She was lovely. It's like, well, I don't know why she picked to come as a robin then, because they're savages. My granddad visits me as a scruffy pigeon, which makes sense because he was quite a scruffy man. And he always, you can always tell when this pigeon comes because he's very, very, he sits on the end of my fence looking like he's had a stroke. But I always know it's my granddad. Besides that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to stop twittering now. I hope you can take something from that. If you do feed your birds, well done. And I feed mine as well. It's a beautiful thing to do and it fills you with joy. But imagine the joy of feeding children rather than just feeding a pigeon. Yeah? Can I shut up? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jason, for those very inspirational words. And before Jason demonstrates his mediumship, I would just like to ask that if a spirit communicator is drawn to you with a message, church members, please respond with a clear yes or no to the statement. Or if in doubt, just say, I'm not sure, and Jason can then ask spirit for further clarification. It's important for him to hear your voice, as that is the conduit of the energy which spirit need to make a strong connection. Please can I also ask church message recipients to speak clearly into the hand microphone. Jason may be drawn to give a message online, in which case can the recipient please clarify in their typed response if the message has been understood. Thank you very much. Over to you again, Jason. Thanks.
Well, this should be fun. I won't say how this works for me, because the one time I did say how this works for me, it didn't work. What I am going to say is I have asked spirit to focus on the people in front of me. So if they do come through online, that's fair enough, we'll do that. But I have asked my spirit to sort of focus on you people who are sat here in front of me. And can I start by the gentleman and the lady who are talking at the back? That lovely lady in the green dress. Yes, just there's a lady sat in the middle of you. As she comes forward, she feels like she should be a mother. She is a very direct woman. She will say things exactly as she finds them. Can you understand that? Yes. Because as she come towards me and the gentleman next to you started faffing, she was like, will you tell him to stop faffing? I want to talk to him. So I know I just need to give him a bit of a whack and be like, oi, I'm here. And it's her day. It's her focus. She makes me feel very, very sick at the time of her passing. I would argue that there should have been problems in the stomach or in the tummy area moving up. Can you understand that? Right. And can we understand problems in the lungs? Sorry? Can you understand problems in the lungs? Yes. Yes? She keeps moaning about not having had a breakfast. So I feel that she was a lady who would have liked to have made sure she'd come out on a proper stomach, but when I listen, she's struggling to breathe. Yes. A little bit confused as well in the final sort of stages of her life. She seems to be making, I feel she would have been sensing the spirit coming around her, to be honest with you. Can you understand that? Yes. the main thing she wants to do is she wants me to send joy to both of you. She's saying like she loves to see you. It's nice that you're in church. I feel even though she's pleased to see you in church, she'd much rather come and visit you while she sat in your garden type of thing. She's sort of like saying, you needn't have bothered coming and I visited you there. She does want to send a little bit of healing to the earth. I would argue that there seems to be somebody suffering with a mild depression or something at this time, and this is what she wants me just to send a little bit of healing for. Can you understand that?
Yes, I do.
She does have a very, very, very young child with her. I feel this child would have passed pre-birth, but I feel I just need to mention that a little boy should have tried to come through a few times in other messages that you've had. Can you understand that?
I think so.
Oh, I don't like that. Yes. Just wait there. Can I just pause your message just 1 second?
Yes.
Can anyone in the church understand a living connection to dementia? So where you would know somebody on the earth plane who, yourself, sweetheart. I'll come to you in a minute. It's just, I feel I have the energy of somebody who has not deceased. So, but that can only be somebody who has dementia wanting to connect. But I'll be with you 1 second. That is my message to you, my darling. I just want to send that healing. Is there a birthday in April?
Yes.
Yes. And can you understand where there may be a birthday about to come up? So sort of either the end of May or the beginning of June.
The end of June.
End of June. She kept saying happy birthday, and it felt like it was a bit further forward than where we are now. Right. And I don't like to mention alcoholics, but I seem to have a gentleman who's just stepped in, and I definitely know that within the next few hours on a Sunday in the living body, he would have been at the pub and well into his way. Can you understand that?
Right.
Do you understand it?
Yes.
Yes, lovely. It's just, she says she's brought him with her. And I know he's like, well, the pub should be opening shortly, so I won't be stopping long. But she's told him, the thing that I like about this lady is I don't think you could tell this lady anything. I think if she told you, and that meant that was what was happening. Because she says, I've told him 3 times he's not going to the pub today, so he ain't going. And he's like, I'll get out at that door. And she's like, you're not, I've got it watched. Can you also understand cancer in the spirit world with a gentleman? Because there's a gentleman moving forward who feels like he connects more to the gentleman sat next to you, actually. Yeah. Just as listening in there, this gentleman just steps in, a nice man. But he does give me a cancerous condition. I feel, sir, and forgive me for saying this, he should have paid more attention to what was going on in his body at the time, because I feel once he's found out he's got cancer, there's very little that could have been done to really treat it. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he is apologising for that, because I feel he would have liked another 10 years or so, but it just not to be. Can you understand, sir, that you have been at a passing? There is a lady just suddenly stepped in and she's holding my hand. And I feel if you weren't with her at the very last seconds of her life, you would have been with her the last day of her life. Can you understand that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you understand? She keeps saying you are very brave. So I feel that you really sort of tried to hold it together and you didn't want to get upset. You have an auntie in the spirit world, sir, because there's a lady just drawing closer to me now, and that is the vibration that she gives me.
No.
Fab, let me find out if that is. No. Yeah. It's all right. Can you understand your dad having a brother?
No.
Right, fair enough. I'm going to move on, because I've got a lady who says she's married to your dad's brother. Is that connected to yourself, sweetheart? No. Fab. Can I go to this lady then? Is that all right? Thank you very much. Hello, my love.
Hello.
So you understand dementia on the earth plane?
Yeah.
Can you also understand where somebody would have passed from pneumonia, or where the person who's got the dementia has had some chest problems recently?
Well, she does a little cough all the time, but it's not pneumonia.
That's very, I can feel chesty, so I need to have.
She coughs.
Can you understand a pleasant woman, but she seems to switch off a little bit more lately. So like she goes from being switched on and la 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 to
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if you noticed, just as I draw this lady in, the lights dimmed slightly.
I did, yeah.
Yeah. And I just feel I'm supposed to mention that this is part of like symbolic of her sort of the lights dimming.
Yeah.
She strikes me as a really lovely lady, and I actually want to share a lot of
She
gratitude to you. She wants me to give you Pussy Willow, which is obviously, it's a lovely plant, but she gives me a bunch of flowers to pass to you.
Yeah.
And I feel in life, in physical life and in good health, she would always be keen to give you things and make sure that you understood how much she appreciates you. Can you understand that?
Yeah, she's lovely.
She seems to, I know this might sound a bit strange to say we're talking to a person who is not deceased, but the dementia allows that to happen.
Oh.
She has a gentleman with her who she says is with her every single day. So I feel you should understand who he is. He feels more like a husband, to be honest.
Her husband's
But-
passed, yeah.
Yeah, but he's with her constantly.
Yeah.
I know it sounds silly to you, but I say to the lady, can you tell me who's brought you forward? And she says, the gentleman who sits with me all day. I feel he looks after her now. I will say this as well. He feels like he would have been a very lovely man, to be honest with you. A gentleman. And I feel he would have doted on her in physical life. And had he been here in the physical sense now, seeing her in the condition she is, he would have been very keen to look after her and try and keep her at her best. I want to pass you. Just bear with me. There's a gentleman on your father's side of the family who comes across as being in the army. He come in very, very firm. I was going to sort of try and break the message up, and he's just like, I told you everything I needed to tell you. Why won't you just say it? So I feel you should understand a military man on your father's side.
Yeah.
And I don't feel he's a harsh man, but he did just come in and say, I'm on the dad's side of the family, I'm in the army, and something about a medal. And when I tried to break it down, he was like, don't do what I've not told you to do. So I know he's very firm and regimented in that way. Do you know who Margaret is, by the way?
Margaret was my dad's sister.
Ah, lovely. I've been trying to find that auntie who I lost before, but then they just shout Margaret at me. I did ask her if she wanted to be called Peggy, and she was like, not particular.
No.
Yes. If you just wait there 1 second. I do want to pass you a dog from the spirit world.
Yes.
Very, very fond of you, but very well behaved, this dog. Can I ask you another thing? Does the lady with the dementia at the moment seem to have any tummy problems or been complaining about them?
She burps a lot as well.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
Every time I sip the water, it tastes like milk.
Yeah. She takes Gaviscon and things.
Oh, you don't want to do it. I shouldn't say what I was going to say, but do you know my nana took Gaviscon for 3 years. What she didn't realise was she thought she was curing indigestion, and instead she had pancreatic cancer, and she treated herself with Gaviscon. It's marvellous stuff, though.
Yeah, I know.
But milk may be better, because I just keep tasting milk in the cup. I feel I just want to. The reason this lady's come forward is purely to say she's really glad that you are part of her life, and that you still focus on her, that you still have a love for her. She has a lady called Betty who comes to visit her from the spirit world. So there should be a lady called Elizabeth in the spirit who you should know of connects to her. And she says she comes to visit her once or twice a week. But if you just get the next time you get to see her, if you just say, do you know an Elizabeth? And if she sort of triggers a memory, she just says, this lady called Betty comes to visit her 2 or 3 times a week when the gentleman goes off to do his own thing. Can I just also send you a little bit of healing?
Yes. Thank you.
The gentleman, when I ask him if there's anything he needs to say to you specifically, other than from this lady, he wants me to heal you. Do you know who Jim is, by the way?
Jim.
Possibly change to James.
Oh, there's a Jim that I send healing to. There's a Jim that belongs here.
Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah,
That'll do.
so-
It's just He's saying he wants to send healing to you specifically. And then he said, if I also just mention Jim to you, then you should understand that. So if you send healing to that man, then I assume that it's sort of like reciprocal healing. They're sending you healing for the healing you're sharing. Because I don't really want to say what I was going to say, but I am going to say it. I'm not saying you're off on your travels or anything like that up into the spirit world, but I don't feel you are a very well woman. I feel like you do have quite a bit of aches and pains, if you can understand that, and like so you're deserving of the healing. Would you agree with me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I apologize for that, because he said she's a well woman herself, and I'm like, well, she doesn't look like she's off skis, and he's like, no, she's not up there, but you're not in the flushes of health. I'm just going to send as well a little bit of healing for somebody who's got sore arms. So, yes, you have a grandson?
No.
Fab. I'll keep hold of it, because there's someone saying they want to send healing to somebody's grandson. And there's something about their arms. So I'll work out what that is. But thank you very much, sweetheart.
Thank you.
Can I come to the lady who's just joined us out? Well, you don't know who's coming yet.
Thank you, Julian.
Would you know a gentleman by the name of Roy in the spirit world?
Yes.
Yes. And would you know a lady in the spirit who would have passed from having a stroke? There's a woman who keeps coming forward. I feel she would be spiritually minded. So I feel she would have an interest in this, but she gave me the very, very strong feeling of having had a stroke before she passed away. Can I just clarify? She doesn't strike me as having died of a stroke. She comes across as having had a stroke. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
Yes. So she would have survived the first one.
Yes.
And made a healthy recovery. And she says that you're a very caring person, but not the world's best nurse. So
Yes.
I feel that you will look after people and help them, but I feel you can be a little bit sort of like, let's just get this done type of thing.
Absolutely.
Can you understand that?
Yes.
I give you an example. It sounds silly, but it just comes into my mind. My stepdad always struggles to get his top off. When I go, man, get it off, and he's like, I'm like, I just get done. And I feel you're very much the same, sort of like, just get it done.
Yes.
There is a lady also who comes forward, and she gives me her name as Elsie. She strikes me more as a friend of this church than anything else. So I feel you should be able to recognise a lady by that name. Would you agree with that?
Well, I've been here almost 50 years, so I have to think. I'm certainly one in the family, but there's probably one here at church as well.
Oh. Can you place me a birthday in the month of September that relates to you, and a birthday in the month of December?
Yes.
They've took me back to September, so I'm assuming there's more than one birthday in the September month that relates to you. Can you accept that?
There is, yes.
Yeah. It's only because one of them felt male. That was a strong one. And then they took me back again for another one. April and March should be significant, but Joe, I'm not going to give you any more months because I might as well just hand you a calendar. They just passed me the calendar and went, where does she not have a birthday? Like, oh, fair enough. I have a lady who keeps just waving at, just bear with me. There's a lady there. She come in as Dot, but Dot is Doris. And I just want to say hello to you and say what a good job you're doing in terms of yourself, if you can understand that. So like your own journey, the life of the church. She seems to want to speak about the life of the church. I know. Do you know hopefully this is not a swear word, but I need to give you the other version of Richard. So you should know a gentleman by the other version of Richard.
Well, I know a Richard. Yes.
Oh.
But I've also known a couple of guys that have just had the shortening.
Just have the shortened version.
Dick.
I weren't sure whether it's technically a swear word, but the gentleman stepped in and said, we just tell her it's
Yes.
And what else is this? Can you understand where You have a granddaughter on the earth plane.
No, I've got grandsons, but not granddaughters.
Mm.
In spirit, yes, but not.
Ah. Can you understand then one of your grandsons to be attached to your granddaughter? Because they say the word granddaughter very like strongly.
Well, they never touch the earth, but you know, the granddaughter would have brothers here on the
Ah.
earth.
Can you understand where you have sort of sponsored somebody, or you have like really, really encouraged somebody to follow their sort of educational path?
A few over the years.
It just they started talking about somebody doing really, really well, and that they would look to you in a sort of nana fashion. And I'm not saying you're necessarily old enough like to be a nana, but or their nana, but that they would look like to you like you are their nana. Does that make sense?
My grandsons are quite young at the moment, and I can't think of anyone else that would
Okay.
know me as a nan.
Yeah. Could you place me where there's any autism on the earth at the moment?
Yes,
Yes. Can you understand they're doing well?
yes.
Yes. It's me. I just think I'm not listening properly. I'm trying to juggle too much at the same time. But because they keep talking about a child, then they talk about autism, they say, God, they're doing well. And then this idea of nana, so
Yes.
that they should look to you as a nana.
Mhm.
Could you understand where that young energy is, that they sometimes get things the wrong way around?
Yes.
Yes, that is lovely, lovely. That is just what they've done to me. They've just put the whole sentence back to front, and I've had to work backwards to get to it. Which is very much like, is it dyspraxia?
Yes.
Dyspraxia
Yes,
and
that's in the
dyslexia.
family.
Yeah. Because I feel like I don't understand why I've just gone from the very end back to try and find the beginning. But that is obviously symptoms of dyslexia and dyspraxia. But other than that, I want to just send you all my love from the spirit. Is there any... Can you understand an association to your mum and the month that we're about to come into? So
Absolutely, yes.
yeah. It's just a lady stepped forward there and I'd felt very motherly, and it's like, why are you here? It's like, because the month that's about to arrive is very significant to them. And I really just want to send you the simplest message of all, is that you are loved and they're proud of you and you're doing ever so well. And in reference to where that like child with autism is, just the love and support that needs to be sent there. Just before I shut up, do you know the name Kenneth?
Yes, I do.
On their side of life?
Yes.
Lovely. I'm going to leave you with the love of the spirit, and thank you for speaking to me, my darling.
Thank you very much, Jason. Thank you. My mum's name was June, by the way. June birthday and a June name.
I like that. She's just like, it's very important to me. Yeah. I'm going to throw this one out, Julian. I do apologise. So we could be anywhere. I seem to have a young man step forward, and as he does step forward, it makes me very much aware that he would have ended his own life because of things that it's not simply depression. He says he ended his life because of things he couldn't deal with coming up in his future, and he didn't want to have to deal with them.
Jason, that's still being with me. It's the anniversary this month.
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah.
That's very... Am I all right to carry on then for a second? It's just...
Certainly.
Can you understand the... Well, you say he's your godson? Yeah. That's probably why I just didn't feel the same type of connection as that lady. But just... Yeah. You would understand all the apologies have been done. Like, there's no need for him to say sorry or anything like that.
Well, I'd say it wouldn't hurt him because I can pass it on to his mum again.
Yeah.
I should say sorry every day as far as I'm concerned.
Well, it's just because I asked him what he wanted to do, he said, say sorry.
Yes.
But then your mum's energy is there with there's no need to say sorry. We've done saying sorry. So I feel, let me just say this about your mother. You would understand, she would be very much like my gran, who used to say, we've said it now, it's done. And then you wouldn't need to speak about it again because they would let it go. Can you understand that?
Yes.
Yeah. And I just feel your mum is one of those types of ladies who just say, it's done. We've talked about it, you've apologized, let's not bring it up again. But he does want to say he's sorry. And I do have to say this, and I apologize for it. It gives me very much the impression that his apology is needed, but the reasons for his putting himself into the spirit world, the reasons for his suicide, I feel they could have been dealt with very, very easily if he'd have just been open about the reasons why he was struggling. Can you understand that? Because he's saying if he'd have told people what was the issues, they could have made it clear that they were not as big as he thought they were. Can you accept that?
His life was complicated.
Yeah, I've got a few things that I just don't want to say out loud because they feel like complicated, quite private things.
Yes,
that,
they are.
Don't need to be, you know, say his mum knew about these things from him now, obviously. She wouldn't want to share them with the world and what have you, because they're very private to her and difficult. But
yes, they are.
He just said, and I know it sounds daft. I also know that your mum would be very much a type of lady who would sort of be very conscious of who was listening. You know, the walls have ears, etc.
Yes.
Because as he tries to tell me those things, the lady puts a hand to him and he's like, the world and his wife is listening. Like, be quiet. So it's like sort of saying, you don't need to know what they are because you know already. But mum needs to know that he understands that had he been open with her about the things that were happening, she could have been of more assistance or more support to him and helped him through those difficulties. I just want to say, yes. The reason he's come through, it is exactly what you said already yourself. If you could just pass the message to his mum,
yes,
and just say, because I feel she's having a little bit of a difficult time right now, and she just needs to know that he is listening. He seems to be with a grandfather,
yes,
and he just like, you know, tell her I'm with dad, but
yes,
but it came as granddad. Like, even though he said tell her I'm with dad, it came as granddad. So I'm assuming it should be her father.
it is.
Yes. And I don't know why. I think he's being silly now because he's like, tell her I've been to see Jesus.
Yeah, he didn't believe in anything.
No, I didn't think he did.
Yes.
But it seemed a very off the cuff remark.
Yes.
But it was like, we just tell her I've seen Jesus.
Yeah,
and
that'll make her laugh.
Before I shut up, do you know who Maureen is?
Yes.
She don't want to be called Maud. She don't want to be called anything else. She's like, my name is Maureen.
Yes.
And I do want to just leave you with the love of the spirit, and please just pass the message on to this gentleman's mother.
I will certainly. I'll phone her this afternoon.
It will mean a lot to him.
Yes.
And he says he owes you a box of chocolates if you do. So.
Oh, he owes me more than that. I'm still cross with him. He knows that. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, my darling. Can I talk to the lady with the glasses and the the grey jacket? Is that all right? There seems to be a gentleman. I'm sorry, I forget that there are people here. I seem to be drawn to a gentleman from the spirit world. And to be fair to you, I don't feel you know this gentleman particularly well. It comes across as being on your mother's side of the family, and it just creates a bit of an abstract feeling. So it would suggest that you have not got a close relationship to a wide body of family members. Can you understand that?
Yeah.
And he sort of, I will say this, he put himself across on a grandfatherly type of vibration. But as he came in, he said, she doesn't particularly know me very well. He just wants to step in. But he wants to step in for a very important reason. He wants to step in to steady the ship, he says. So you must be feeling a little bit wobbly at the moment, or a little bit lost in the dark type of thing. Can you understand that?
Yeah.
And that is simply all he wants to bring me. He says, I just need to, my darling, do you need to forgive yourself? Because there's a lady just stepped in and said, forgiveness starts with you. So I feel like you need to just say to yourself, it's all right. Can you understand that?
Yeah.
Is it right to say that there's a lady's passing that particularly affected you and that you wish that you could have had a conversation with her prior? So like a lady who's passing you would like to have gone to, but didn't actually get a chance to go to, but would have helped you. Yeah. Go on.
I'm not quite sure.
That's fabulous. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Can you understand why you've been looking at photographs this week?
Yes.
Yes. Can you understand why you've looked at a photograph of a lady?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, for some reason, when you say you're not quite sure, the lady's like, she should be. She's been looking at my pictures. So I feel you should understand who she is now.
Yeah.
She just feels that she wants to help you let go of things that you hold on to. And I feel you've done a lot of that, like letting go of things. But she's saying, because your family's complicated, isn't it? Like you would understand the way everybody connects to one another is a bit strange. I'm not saying like, you know, your uncle is your father or anything like that, but they say that the way it pieces together, it's all a little bit abstract. And she just wants me to say that you need to, I know, could you understand where on the earth at the moment you would like to make amends with somebody, but they don't seem to be necessarily willing to let that happen, or where they seem to have fallen out with you for no reason?
Yeah.
Would you accept you have a brother?
Yes.
Yeah. The lady seems to want to spin energy around you and your brother, be that to bring you closer together, or be that to sort of fill you with love. I don't know which one it is, but that is what she keeps saying. Yeah, thank you. But where you have had a fallout with somebody and you don't really know what you've done, the lady just saying, you haven't done anything, so don't worry about it. Just like forgive yourself. Because I feel that you're one of those types of people that you will question whether you actually have done something that you just don't realize you've done. Does that make sense to you?
Yes,
like, did I say something I shouldn't? Give people online a nice noise, that won't it? Anybody who sat watching this in the bath will have just dropped their phone. But I just feel you are the type of person you will blame yourself for things that you don't need to blame yourself for. And this lady said you've done absolutely nothing wrong. I feel just a little bit of rest and relaxation will do you the world of good at the moment.
Yeah.
Just to calm yourself. Now, mediums are not supposed to prescribe. We are not supposed to predict. But I don't really pay attention to any of those things. What I will say is a little bit of salt in the bath may do you the world of good. Yeah. I can get away with that prescription, can't I? But just a little bit of salt and just a little bit of R&R would do you some really, really good, because I think you've burnt yourself a little bit further than perhaps your own natural energy can carry you. Can you understand that?
Yes, I can,
And the final thing for me to say to you, my darling, is to refer you to my philosophy, which is to say that every person in this room can carry themselves through their life on their own steam. All of us can. But if we know that God can help us, that the spirit world could help us, why would we bother carrying it all by ourselves? Like when the big guy would be like, do you want me to carry that bag for you? I will just say this, my friend here yesterday asked to carry my bag. He asked to carry the lighter one and left me with the heavier one, which is like, yeah, cheers. But I feel God will carry the heavier one for you, which you need at the moment. And I'm going to leave you with the love.
Yeah, thank you.
I just want to tell you from this lady, by the way, she's very proud of you. I feel when you're in like when you're like 25, 26, you must have had a really difficult moment. Like there seems to be something there in that specific area that left you a little bit frazzled. And she's like saying, she's so proud to see how you've gone from there to here, and how can you understand what that was?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or was it about 23 actually? Did you lose your father?
Yeah, I lost, yeah.
Can you understand that affected you She was saying about losing your dad was difficult for you.
Yeah.
But she's proud to see that you've bounced back and you've got to where you are. And I leave you with the love of the Spirit, and thank you for speaking with me, madam.
Thank you.
Oh, my apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jason, for that excellent demonstration. And just have some notices for you all before we close the service. Our guest medium on Sunday, June the 2nd, is Ashley Robinson, taking the Lyceum at 10:30, followed by our Divine Service and Holy Communion at 11 a.m. The service, excluding the Lyceum, will be live streamed direct to Wimbledon Spiritualist Church Facebook pages and YouTube, and links provided. Please note the healing clinic, animals included, is every Tuesday 7 until 8:15 and Thursday 10 a.m. until 12 noon for members of the community and animals. You will be greeted by our healer practitioners in a safe, friendly and welcoming atmosphere. New events for summer 2024 include Friendship Club every Wednesday 11:30 until 2 p.m. in church. Julie Caswell will be hosting this week's meeting on May the 29th. Please note there is no Zoom option for Friendship Club until further notice. Please check weekly postings on the Wimbledon Spiritualist Church main page or Facebook group for further information about Friendship Club. Charlie's Zen Den is happening on June the 2nd at 12:30, immediately after our divine service with Ashley Robinson, and this will be held in the sanctuary. A mindful meditation that will take you on a spiritual journey, connecting you to mind, body, and spirit. And this is a free will donation event. Please note the next open platform with myself, Phil Shaw, is on Thursday, June the 20th at 7 p.m. sharp. Doors open at 6:15, and these evenings are a platform for intermediate, advanced, and working mediums to polish their evidential mediumship, inspirational speaking, philosophy, spirit writing, art, and presentation skills. A supportive audience is always welcome. Please contact myself for further information on my Facebook page at Phil Shaw Spiritualist Medium, or email philesoteric@gmail.com. There is a demonstration of mediumship with Sarah Warman on June the 24th at Hackbridge Spiritualist Church at 7 p.m. The admission is £5 and tickets are available in advance on the Wimbledon Church page link. We have crystal healing with Rachel Davis available at Wimbledon and Hackbridge Spiritualist Churches to rebalance, re-energize and relax from £35 per half-hour session. Please phone Wimbledon Spiritualist Church to book an appointment. Please keep up to date with our activities and special events, courses, workshops and demonstrations on our Facebook pages and Instagram, where you will find links to pre-booking facilities. And finally, parking is available opposite Wimbledon Spiritualist Church on 2 meters if they are available, or in Hartfield Road next to Morrison Supermarket. I will now ask Jason to close our service in prayer. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you very much. If you just join me in that silence once more. And I say, gracious and divine Spirit, as the two worlds move apart from this vessel at this time, I would ask that my guides and inspirers lead those who have come forward into the oneness of their God. And then I say simply, oh, praise to you, you who have placed sun, stars and moon in highest heaven, you who have covered the earth in life and surrounded us in water that sustains us, you who have given us first breath and in time will be the source of our everlasting life. Amen.
Thank you, Jason. And I'd just like to close us out on a piece of poetry by Rumi. Sorrow prepares you for joy. It violently sweeps everything out of your house so that new joy can find space to enter. It shakes the yellow leaves from the bough of your heart so that fresh green leaves can grow in their place. It pulls up the rotten roots so that new roots hidden beneath have room to grow. Whatever sorrow shakes from your heart, far better things will take their place. Thank you, everyone. Have a very peaceful week ahead, and God bless. Thank you.